Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into one of the oldest debates there is, the supposed battle between reason and faith. So, we're tackling a massive question, one that has echoed through the centuries. What's the real relationship between philosophy and religion? Are they, locked in some eternal conflict? Or is there a chance they're actually two sides of the same coin, both aiming for something much deeper? Let's dig in. All right, so here's how we're going to approach this. First, we need to get a handle on what we even mean by philosophy and religion. Then we'll look at a really interesting idea about where they both came from. And finally, we'll see if we can find the common ground where they just might meet. Okay, first up, philosophy. And right off the bat, we hit a hurdle. This is a field with thousands of years of history, so trying to nail down one single definition, well, that's a philosophical problem in itself. I mean, seriously, think about it. The meaning of philosophy has been a moving target for millennia. What one person calls philosophy, someone else might call science or art or just critical thinking. So instead of forcing one definition, let's see how the idea itself has changed over time. And this is so cool because you can literally watch the idea evolve right here. It starts out as this huge, ambitious thing, the science of all sciences. But then over time, it becomes something more focused, more active. It's not just a body of knowledge, but an activity, a way of critiquing, of analyzing, of doing. But if we go back to the very beginning, the original Greek word philosophia tells us almost everything we need to know. It's made of two parts, philia, which means love, and sophia, which means wisdom. So it's the love of wisdom. That's a huge distinction. It's not about already having all the answers. It's about the passionate pursuit of them. It's the journey. So putting it all together, our source gives us this really rich, holistic definition. Philosophy is basically a systematic mission to make sense of it all, ourselves, others, the entire universe. And it says we should use every tool in our toolbox to do it, from cold hard science to our deepest personal beliefs. Okay, let's switch gears and look at our second key idea, religion. And you probably guessed it, just like philosophy, trying to define this one is going to be tricky. Yet, the meaning of religion totally depends on who you ask. Your culture, your background, your own personal beliefs, all of these things color how you see it. So finding one single definition that everyone on Earth would agree on, basically impossible. Now, this is a fascinating way to break it down, especially looking at the Arabic word din. You can see it as a two-way street. From the divine side, it's about authority, rule, and accountability. But from the human side, it's about submission, obedience, and worship. It's this constant dynamic between sovereignty and devotion. The scholar Maududi took this idea even further. He argued that for something to truly be a religion in the Quranic sense, it has to have these four key ingredients. There has to be a single highest authority. There has to be submission to that authority. There has to be a whole system for living your life. And finally, there's a system of reward and punishment. It's a complete package, a total way of life. And so our source brings this all together in a really clear definition. Religion isn't just something you believe in your head. It's a full-blown institution. It's a system that gives people a way to live, and it brings them together under a shared understanding of the world, shaping everything from individual choices to entire societies. All right, so we've got a feel for philosophy and a feel for religion. Now we can finally get to the really big question. Where did these two things come from, and what's the relationship at the most fundamental level? And really, this is what it all boils down to, isn't it? It's like the ultimate chicken and egg question for humanity. Are we thinkers who learned how to believe, or are we believers who learned how to think? What is more essential to who we are? Now, here's a really powerful theological argument for their unity. The logic is actually pretty simple. If you take Adam as the first human, then by definition he had to have reason. That's the root of philosophy. But as the first prophet, he also embodied faith. That's the root of religion. So if you follow that logic, reason and faith were never separate to begin with. They were born at the exact same moment, inside the very first person. And this idea completely flips the script on the whole conflict narrative. It suggests that things like philosophy, and even our systems of law and ethics, didn't pop up in opposition to religion. Instead, they actually grew out of a religious worldview. Religion, in this sense, was the original soil from which all these other ways of thinking sprouted. So, if it's possible they share the same origin story, could it be that they also share the same destination? In this last part, let's explore the powerful common ground where these two seemingly different paths might actually converge. And right here, this is where it all clicks into place. Just look at these questions. They are the deepest, most universal questions we humans ask ourselves. And guess what? They're the exact same questions that fuel both the philosopher and the faithful person. They are, without a doubt, on the very same quest. This chart just lays it all out, plain and simple. Okay, yeah, their methods might look different on the surface. One is all about inquiry, the other about faith. But their core questions are the same. And check out the ultimate goal. Philosophy is searching for intellectual peace, while religion is searching for peace in this life and the next. They're both trying to get us to a place of tranquility and meaning. So maybe we've been looking at it all wrong. Maybe they're not two armies at war. Maybe they're just two different trails, both leading toward the same goal, a sense of peace and a meaningful connection between us and the universe. And this is just an incredible statement, especially because of where it comes from, the heart of a major world religion. It's saying that reason isn't the enemy of faith. It's not some hurdle you have to jump over. No, it's the complete opposite. It's the foundation that true religion has to be built on. Which leaves us with this final thought. What if this whole conflict we talk about is just a misunderstanding, just a matter of perspective? What if philosophy and religion aren't opposing forces at all, but are just two different groups of hikers, taking two different trails, but all trying to get to the top of the very same mountain, the summit we call truth? What do you think?